Okay, one of the goofier trends to hit the meta of YouTube over the last few years, food tier lists, made my stupid brain start generating funny ideas about what extremes this could potentially be pushed to. See, people would at first rank different types of snacks and food products with ever-changing categorical specifications. One particular trend would be to try every flavor or variety of one particular brand of snack, trying every Reese's product, ranking every flavor of Mountain Dew, etc. And for some reason my mind instantly jumped to Haribo gummy bears, the original gummy bears in fact, invented way back in 1922. But for some reason I knew that Haribo happened to have an absurd number of strange region-specific products all across the world. Weird stuff, mice, snails, stuff you'd never expect to see in a gummy form. So I started trying to compile a list of every product they make, and quickly my stupid joke idea turned into somewhat of a legitimate obsession. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and relentlessly I scoured Google Images, expecting to eventually hit a rock bottom, but I was always satiated by an endless supply of regional exclusives, holiday tie-ins, anniversary editions, discontinued old products, an entire second company called Mome that is technically owned by Haribo and has its own line of candy, marshmallows. I mean, it's not even limited to food. Haribo shoes, Haribo store, Haribo jet, Haribo everything. So I quickly realized I'd never be able to review every Haribo, even as some kind of weird joke, but I had already jumped the gun and started collecting flavors, buying gummy bears, telling anyone who would listen about my grandiose plans to create the wildest gummy tier list of all time. I even drove across state lines to a specialty candy store to find rare international flavors. I couldn't give up at this point, so I settled on 50 products. I know the meta for this kind of video has moved on to insane extremes. Some people at this point are even inventing fake products to rank. Others are using AI to create fake rankings of real products. It's a wild world. But look, I bought 50 bags of gummy bears, so the show must go on. And yeah, for my normal viewers, look, thank you for your patience with me, and I promise I'll get back to talking about video games after this. I got some big things planned. Stick around. But for now, here's my ultimate Haribo tier list. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Okay, so classic gold bears, the world's first gummy bear since 1922, with a beautiful variety of fruit flavors. We got classic lemon, pineapple, orange, strawberry, raspberry goodness, and yeah, it's the gummy bear that you all know and love. I struggle to even explain these. My personal favorite are the pineapple and the lemon. They have an amazing squish. They bite back like a real gummy. This is no fruit snack, okay? Gold bears. And of course, these are going to go straight to the S tier. Classic. Haribo, 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 Haribo. 100 years of gummy bears in 2022, so we get a blue raspberry party hat. Pretty interesting, exactly the same as the gold bears otherwise, but the blue piece is good, and it adds a good amount of variety to have a sixth piece in there, so slightly better than the gold bears. S tier. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Summer edition with new fruity flavors. Yeah, these are actually amazing. Peach, orange, lime, mango, watermelon, and passion fruit. They all taste amazing. They're way fruitier than the normal gold bears, surprisingly. Yeah, these are incredible. Also S tier. We're off to a great start. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Our first international gummy here, soft, with 25% more fruit juice. These are a bit closer to fruit snacks on the spectrum than a typical gummy. They're big and soft. You could see it compared to a normal gold bear here. I personally like the regular gold bear's mouthfeel and texture better, but these are still pretty good. I think a lot of people might like them more than me. To me, they're B tier. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Sour. Okay, now these are basically Sour Patch Kids. The same classic flavors as normal gold bears, but just with the sugar coating. It's basically a Sour Patch Kid, but not quite as good. I'm a little bit torn on these. They're alright. B tier, but not as good as the soft bears. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Barchin, Parchin, and I think it means bear pears. It's two bears, one sour, one sweet, holding hands. Very cute. We got orange and apple, lemon and cherry. I'm not even going to try with those. But yeah, these are actually incredible. They're a little bit more flat. There's more surface area, but they're flat and like thinner. The flavors are amazing. Having the two different flavors, it just gives so much variety. S tier. These are one of my favorites. For real.
Haribo, 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 Haribo.
Milk Baron, Milk Bears, I guess. And yeah, these are actually like 70% foam, I would say. This weird milky foam that appears in a lot of Haribo's international products. Got a pretty standard selection of fruit flavors on the actual gummy segment. But yeah, to me the ratio is off here. There's way too much of the foam, and just you barely get a hint of like these fruit flavors on here. It's just a strange experience. I don't know. They're not bad. Ultimately, I would say these are about C tier.
Haribo, 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 Haribo.
Twin Snakes. These are one of my favorites. Classic. A lot like the Barchin Parchin, one sour, one sweet, but this time snakes, sort of as Haribo's version of the like gummy worm, I guess. Sour and sweet fruit flavors. And playing with these is so much fun, just ripping them apart. You could eat one snake at a time. You could be a heathen and bite into both of them at once. They're delicious, but a little bit thick and less gorgeable than the standard bears. I feel like the bears you can sort of scarf down at a higher rate.
Haribo, 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 Haribo.
Happy Cola. Okay, now this is an American jam here, and just one piece in here, no variety as far as the flavors, and it's all cola. It's a bottle of soda, and it's a really overwhelming and like sort of fake cola taste. It's not bad. It's a pretty good soda flavor, but it's just no variety here, and I feel like I could only eat a couple of these before I start to feel tired of them. So even though they're alright, they're only about a C tier to me.
Haribo, 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 Haribo.
And we have sort of the same deal with these Happy Cherries. Now, obviously, these are cherry instead of cola. I find the cherry flavor to be a little bit less artificial and overwhelming than the soda flavor, but there's still just no variety. These are kind of flat and have a little bit of like a better like mouthfeel. I like the stem part on these actually quite a bit. So a little bit better than the cola, I think, but still sort of just the same, lack of variety, single flavor, C tier.
Haribo, 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 Haribo.
Star Mix, our first mix here, and it has a lot of the stuff we've already eaten, the bears, the cola, the cherries, and the twin snakes, but it also has this other weird round piece that I don't know where that comes from or what it's supposed to be, but it's pretty good. It's sort of like an alphabet letter, which we'll get to in a little bit. It's squishy, thin, good mouthfeel. It's overall a good mix, and the cola and cherries that had lacked variety before benefit from this mix.
Haribo, 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 Haribo.
Mega Roulette. Okay, now these are basically little discs that come in a rolled up piece of plastic. Otherwise, they're basically gold bears, but they're just shaped like hockey pucks. Same flavors, amazing mouthfeel, perfect fun packaging that you could sort of twist back up. These are awesome. I find like these are a sleeper hit. Mega Roulette, to me, straight S tier. Even better than the bears. They're just like slightly better bears.
Haribo, 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 Haribo.
Alphabet letters. Now we're learning. We got two axes of variety here now. We got our standard flavors, but also now the flavors can be applied to a wide variety of alphabet shapes. They taste amazing. They're a flat, standard fruity gummy. You could spell cool words with it. This is like Haribo's best standard fruity gummy, in my opinion. The best application of the classic flavors. Yeah, these are S tier. Amazing.
Haribo, 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 Haribo.
Rainbow worms. Now these are actually a newer one, and these are more of a standard gummy worm, but they're all just multi-flavored. Blackcurrant, lemon, and strawberry on every worm, so every piece is virtually the same, and they have these ridged texture, which actually kind of destroys the mouthfeel and like structure and texture of the gummy in a way that's just sort of unpleasant and I don't really like these. They have a weird mouthfeel. They're not as good as they could be, but they're not bad either. They're like a B, standard gummy worm, but slightly subpar.
Haribo, 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 Haribo.
Dinosaurs, another standard fruity one. Cool explorer hat on the bear here. And yeah, these are just sort of a variety of dinosaur shapes with mixed fruit flavors on each one. These are good. They're a little too thick. The mouthfeel isn't great. It sort of has this waxy, thick, just kind of bland thing going on where it's a little too rough and rugged and hard. They're good. They taste fine. I'll eat them. But I wouldn't ever choose them over some of the classics. B tier gummy again.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Frogs. Now this is the most common application of that foam I was talking about earlier, with just a thin layer and some peach flavor to these things. Now no variety, every single frog is the same and they just taste like peach. So that's the weakest component, because it just gets overwhelming with the peach flavor, and they are a little bit overly thick. The foam is a nice touch to the peach flavored gummy. They're pretty alright, but they're outdone by the very next thing.
Haribo, 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 gang.
The mini rainbow frogs. Now these are delicious. They thin them out a little bit, make them smaller, obviously mini, but there's also a variety of flavors now instead of just peach. There's actually no peach flavor at all. And it just tastes way better. They're way better feel in the mouth. You could totally gorge on these. They're amazing. A tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Fantastic mix. Now this is basically a sweet and playful mix of a bunch of overly thick and some foam coated gummies. Robots, planes, dinosaurs, alligators with a little bit of the foam that are actually pretty good. Like the dinosaur gummies. They're just a little too overly thick. The fruit flavors are good, but they're not really in like the most ideal form or shape. This mix really could have used a smaller piece in here to sort of just mix things up. It really suffers on the gorgeability side for me because of that. But it's still a B tier. It's not bad.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Seasonal happy hoppers for Easter. And now these are basically just standard fruit flavors, but 4 Easter shapes. 3 bunnies and a carrot. I guess eggs were too much to ask for. And they're alright. They're a little bit closer to like fruit snacks than your standard Gold Bear. B tier. Remind me a lot of the soft bears.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Now, Happy Hoppers Mini that come in this giant multi-pack. These are actually different. The gummies themselves are condensed, much smaller, and they come in these little individual packs, and they're way better for it. The mouthfeel is better, they're easier to eat, and I like the idea of the seasonal gummies sort of being restricted to these little like share sizes to have their own little category. They're pretty delicious actually. Like, these turn out to be one of my favorites, and they come in like a perfect portion too. A tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Less favorable are the candy cane gummies for Christmas, and I'd be interested in trying mini ones of these because the current feel, even though the flavors are cool, cheery cherry, sugar plum, candy apple, all nice theming, the shape, it's just this obnoxious, plain, waxy gummy. The top part of the candy cane is just, there's too much overlapping and thickness going on. It's very boring in the mouth and just underwhelming. B tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Smurfs in the world of licensed gummies, and these are a variety of sort of like berry-ish flavors shaped like Smurfs. There's not really much more to it. They're not bad. If you're into berry flavors, I think this will actually be one of your favorites, but I personally am not. But I'll try to be objective and say they're a C tier gummy.
Haribo, 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 gang.
And Smurf Sour, exactly like the standard ones, but just with the sour coating of death. It's horrible. It's not really horrible. It's just exactly like the normal Smurfs, but slightly worse for having this sort of Sour Patch coating. I'm not really a fan, but again, they're not bad. C tier. If you're into berry flavors, check them out.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Watermelons. Now, this is our first fusion of gummy and actual soft and sweet marshmallow. No variety here, just watermelon. Let's check it out. It's super soft and squishy. The bottom rind of the watermelon is actually just a pure marshmallow. The biggest drawback here is just overwhelming artificial watermelon flavor. It's alright, but not gorgeable at all. C tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Berries. These crunchy and chewy berries, come in 2 colors. I guess like sort of raspberry and I don't know, wild berry. Doesn't really say. But the outside are basically crunchy candy particles, and the inside is just sort of a feeling gummy. It's a little bit soft and mushy, but the outside is just so crunchy and gross and just not good. It's like Nerds, but worse on the outside, and then mixed with this overly thick. These are just disgusting and inedible. These are the first F tier, man. I would never eat these. I'm sorry.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Peaches. We're moving into a soft and fruity territory here. We got him with a freshly picked peach. And these come in just one flavor, one type of gummy. These sort of peach discs, very floppy and soft, extremely soft actually, coated in sweet sugar. Very bendy and rippy, but there's just no variety. And again, with the artificial, overwhelming fruit flavor, it's just not gorgeable. C tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Berry clouds. Now these are my worst nightmare. They have the sour coating, they have the marshmallow, they have just berry flavors. I really despise these things. It's half marshmallow, half sort of gumdrop with berry flavors. Very soft and mushy, but just not for me. D tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Fruit salad, yummy, yummy. It's exactly like the peaches, and it has more of a variety of flavors, though, which solves every problem that the peach pack had. Specifically, the grapefruit, lemon, and passion fruit ones here are really tasty and yummy. But yeah, they're all just these floppy fruit discs, just like the peaches, but way more variety. This was a surprise. I actually really enjoyed these. And yeah, they're gonna outclass every other C-tier gummy.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Sour Kicks, zing! Not to be confused with Haribo Kicks. There are these sour shoe-shaped gummies with a bunch of sour flavors. These are the first sour ones where it's just the gummy being sour on its own. They're pretty good. The mouthfeel isn't great. They're so much thicker and larger than a normal Gold Bear. They're alright. Better than I would have expected, but not an S tier or high class gummy. Topping off the C tier. Pretty alright.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Now, sour streamers. These are basically like sour coated bacon strips. So instead of being in the form of like an actual Sour Patch gummy, they're just these thin fruit flavored strips. I really think they should have branded them as bacon strips. That would have been pretty cool. They're super floppy and thin. They actually have a great mouthfeel. The sourness isn't too overwhelming. It's kind of subtle and sweet in a weird way. These are really good. Pleasant surprise here. Bottom of B tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Sour Sketty. Basically the same thing here, but just in a spaghetti form. It's slightly thicker than the bacon strips of the last one, with only 3 flavors this time. But pretty good, stretchy rope feel to it. You can see how it stacks up to the bacon here. Pretty good. What do I say about this? It's another sour gummy. Not as good as the bacon strips.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Now, Sour Bites. These are kind of weird. These are filled little capsules. It's like a sugar dust inside, and there's these sour, fruity 2 flavor capsules. It's very strange. I don't even know how to describe the mouthfeel of these. Like, you sort of get the aftertaste of that dust after you get the initial shock of the sour coating on the outside. They're kind of weird and nasty. I don't know. Bottom of C tier. They're not horrible.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Sour cubes. Now these, with its exotic flavors. I hate all the branding on these sour things, by the way. It's just so OOs and hideous. Now, these exotic flavors, there is a good variety here. Sour dragon fruit seems interesting especially. But the thing with these is, I'm going to be honest with you, these are completely inedible. These are just completely hard. I don't know if I got a bad bag or something, but these, I couldn't even eat more than one of these. The outside is just rock hard. They're disgusting. No. F tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Schnecken, otherwise known as black licorice wheels. Vegetarian or vegan, apparently. You can see this This boy here is the mascot for a lot of the black licorice products that Haribo makes, and this just has these simple wheels of black licorice. Now, they're kind of oily and greasy and bendy, and they feel rubbery, and the wheel is clever, how you sort of have to unwind it and eat it that way, but it's just not great. It's okay. It's not the best black licorice I've ever had, and it's not gorgeable. C tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Fruit Schnecken, on the other hand, sort of solves the problem. We got Gold Bear back with these fruity flavors, and there's actually a cola flavor in here too, which is pretty interesting. So this is more like a typical licorice. And yeah, you keep the fun wheel concept, you get to play with it a little bit, see it compared to the normal Schnecken there. But the flavors are good. It's still a little bit overwhelming and strong, and I don't know if you could realistically eat a whole bag of these, but it's way better than just a standard black licorice. We'll go B.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Confecties. Now these are black licorice filled with the dust coating that you might remember from those sour bites, and 4 flavors, coconut and fruit flavors on the coatings, but just this thick black licorice outside. It's not horrible. The aftertaste of the sugar coating does work well with the sort of dullness of the initial black licorice taste, but it's just not something you could eat a lot of. C tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Salted pretzels. Black licorice coated in sugary coating of some kind. I don't know. No further information is really given. And these, I gotta say, these are just despicable. They're bendy and have a nice feel to them, but just the combination between the deep black licorice taste and the nasty coating, these are despicable. These make me shudder even thinking about eating another one of them. It's disgusting.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Kinder Schnuller. I have no idea what these are supposed to be. I think they're baby pacifiers, but no flavor information. But I gotta say, these are incredible. They're flat. They have a perfect mouthfeel and variety of fruit flavors. You could wear them like rings and play with them and stretch them out. It's the perfect fun fruit gummy. These are incredible. S tier. Absolutely awesome.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Wineland, otherwise known as wine gums. I think wine gums are just sort of like what they call this kind of fruit snacks in the UK. They're sort of these like fruity flavors, but they're shaped like weird like pills and stuff. I don't really know. They do sort of have like a grapey, winey fruit snack, very Welch's fruit snack thing. They're basically just fruit snacks. I don't know. There's nothing too spectacular about them, but I don't know. Let's see. We'll say B tier on these.
Haribo, 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 gang.
A surprise hit here, ginger lemon. They might seem like a grandma sort of snack or nasty, but man, these are actually incredible. I have to say, you have to try these. They're soft. The ginger lemon flavor is incredible. They're not necessarily the most gorgeable thing, but they're just so soft, subtle. The flavor is not overly overwhelming. They're so good. S tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Super gherkin, or cucumber, I guess. It's kind of weird. And they're sort of like the peach discs, but with different flavors and in the shape of like a cucumber or a pickle instead. These are also vegan. And they're actually pretty good. The green one, to me, I don't know. It does actually kind of taste like cucumber. I don't know if it's placebo or not. But all the flavors here are good. It's, again, sort of like a more subtle version of the peach discs or fruit salad. The lemon or yellow, whatever it is pretty good. I really kind of like these. They're very weird, but good. I think these are going to end up in the B tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Brune Crocodile Sour. These are basically just Sour Patch Kids, but bigger, thicker, and with 2 flavors per. They're alright. It's just a thicker Sour Patch Kid. I don't know. The crocodile theme doesn't really do much for me. Not too much variety or too much of a hook here with these. They're really boring, but they're not bad. Bottom of B tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Now marshmallows for one of our first non-gummies. And yeah, chamallows, pink and white. They come in this giant bag compared to a normal one. Super soft, bonbon à savior. You can use them for a variety of different things, dipping them in chocolate, whatever. And yeah, oh my god, super soft, super delicious. They're just marshmallows, but I would say a really good marshmallow. I don't know. I did kind of have the placebo thought that the pink and white ones tasted a little bit different, but these are straight up amazing. I'm conflicted about how to rank them on the tier list because they're not a gummy. These are incredible, gorgeable. They are definitely S tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Sose or Sube mouse. These are basically kind of weird circus peanuts. These are one of the flavors that intrigues me to do this list. We have lemon, orange, and cherry, I think, mice that are basically foam. They're all foam, like from the frogs or what have you. They're pretty okay. The foam is actually better on its own without sort of being cluttered in with the gummy, in my opinion. I wish there was more variety and flavor. Both of the flavors are pretty subtle and nice. There's this nice soft mouthfeel to these. These are an A tier gummy. I like them.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Confect. Now, this is one of the most classic Haribo products with a variety of strange licorice and coconut and other things. There's the confecties in here, actually. We got orange, lemon, cherry, coconut, caramel, all different licorice pressed layered things, and they're all honestly pretty disgusting. I don't know how this has lasted as one of Haribo's longest running products. They are absolutely brittle, dry, overpowering, artificial tasting. Not for me, man. I'm sorry, I couldn't even make it through all of these. F.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Hey Cacao, otherwise known as chocolate milk. Now these appear to also be vegetarian. We got soft, squishy, circus peanut-esque chocolate milk bottles, and these are actually one of my favorite surprises in here because you could see it's actually not the same as a normal circus peanut thing. It does have a milky, crumbly quality to it compared to the mice, for example, and they sort of just melt in your mouth. Now the chocolate and vanilla milk flavor parts are actually different on each side of it. It's delicious. These are so weird, so good. B tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Now these, I thought Steffetzen were going to be giant Mike and Ikes, because that's kind of what they look like, but lo and behold, what these weird pills turned out to be were basically, Geschmackrichtungen? My favorite flavor. Okay. What these basically turned out to be are candy-coated black licorice bits, and they're weird, I will say. This is one of the least offensive applications of the black licorice, but it's still sort of just thick and crumbly and weird. I don't know if I got an old bag or what. They're not great. I guess D tier if we're being generous. They're not the most awful thing I've had.
Haribo, 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 gang.
Star mints, and yeah, they're basically a intense menthol flavored diner mint, individually wrapped with a nice little Haribo stamp of approval on them. And yeah, it's basically just a diner mint, but the thing about it is, if you actually do choose to bite into it, the center does have sort of like a gummy quality in some ways that's kind of interesting. It's weird. It's a really powerful mint, but it's good for what it is. It's an A tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
World mix. Now this is a big kahuna. We got the licorice lad and the gummy going on vacation. We got gumdrops. We got licorice flowers. We could see all the flags, giant strawberries, all sorts of flags that I don't know what country they belong to because I'm ignorant. We've got giant strawberries. These are like thin. It's basically like a cola or a cherry, but strawberry flavored. We got these licorice flowers that sort of have that sweet dust on the inside, I think. These more standard gumdrops that almost come off like Mike and Ike's. There's a lot in here. These jelly bellies that are basically also sort of Mike and Ike-esque, but softer in a weird way. All sorts of weird stuff in this thing. It's an awesome mix for anyone who's curious about international Haribo. You can see a little bit better how much of a pure variety there is in there. Pretty awesome. For what it is as a mix, I'd say it's A tier.
Haribo, 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 gang.
And lastly, something I was given as a gift, which I'm super thankful for, these Haribo collectible figures. Gummy Gold Bear, along with two of his, Gold Bear creations. A strawberry, we got the frog, and look, they also make a Happy Cola, a pineapple, which I'm not sure what that's representing. But yeah, this is super cool. I'm not going to open it. I like how the packaging looks like an actual Haribo gummy pack. These are S tier. Super cool that Haribo has that. And that's our final tier list. Can you believe it? Haribo, 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 Haribo gang. Bask in the glory of the finality of our Haribo rankings. Bask in it. Now, of course, there's still a huge variety of crazy international flavors, products, tie-ins, everything that I didn't get to try. The teeth, the fried eggs, all sorts of wacky stuff. Scoom, everything. But we'll have to leave that for a part 2 because right now I am completely Haribo'd out. Comment below if you have any cool suggestions. If you enjoyed this, if I should do a part 2, subject myself to even further torment and agony. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, make my stomach ache worth it. I'm Backseat Sakurai, and I'll catch you later.